Hi, I'm Harry,
And I'm Jack.
and we are White Lies, and you are watching Undercover.
And welcome to Undercover, where we're catching up with Harry and Jack from the White Lies. And good to have you here, guys.
Good to be here.
Now, we're going to talk about music. We might talk a bit about television shows. We should talk about shoes, too. I mean, what's this with the White Lies shoes happening down here?
I do like a special pair of shoes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm quite into my high top trainers.
Is that a specific White Lies brand, or have we done something?
It does. Yeah, there has White Lies written on the side, but it's
Yeah.
not really. No. It's. I don't want to advertise them, but it's Nike.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from it.
Yeah,
Really.
it's just helping Harry out.
I wish they were White Lies trainers. That'd be awesome. But
Yeah,
One
it'd be
day.
nice. One day, folks, you'll get the White Lies merch, including the Nike shoes, but, it's still to come.
Pretty good start.
Yeah. Let's talk about the band. Less than 2 years old.
And this,
Yeah.
in this kind of carnation of ourselves, and yeah, it is. But we've been playing music together since we were more like 15 or 16. So it's kind of quite a lot of backstory before White Lies, and a lot of learning and practicing and failed touring and stuff like this before White Lies even started. So. White Lies is still a young thing though.
Had you actually recorded pre-White Lies together?
We'd recorded like bits and bobs, but never never properly.
yeah, it was never anything that was recognised by anyone. Really, it was just something that we did for fun, and we learnt a lot from it. But
Yeah.
in fact, that the previous band we learnt a lot from in every way, pretty much. And if we hadn't had it, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. But it was definitely the right decision to cast off and start something new, because it was like our training wheels, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were growing up at that time.
What was the Training Wheels band called?
Fear of Flying, we were called.
Yeah, Fear of Flying.
Mm-hmm.
And then in October 2007, it all became White Lies.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're leading up to the 2-year anniversary. So, I'm sure there's going to be a White Lies birthday cake with 2 candles on in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be somewhere in mainland Europe, probably on a tour bus. Probably will be exactly the same as every other day last year. I don't know, it's quite a depressing thing to say.
Yeah.
But it will in a way it will be a moment, won't it? Because
Yeah.
it will feel like we're properly doing it now.
Yeah.
Properly.
I guess in some ways it was good having that apprenticeship pre-White Lies, because as White Lies then formed, very quickly signed to Fiction Records, which must have been pretty exciting, being the home of The Cure.
Yeah.
That wasn't something we knew at the time when we signed with Fiction. It was more just about the guys and girls who were running that label, and it's pretty amazing because it's a very small kind of branch of it's part of Universal, but it's a really kind of homely, kind of independent vibe about it. So we got on very well with the people who worked there, and that really was the reason we chose them. We were in quite a good position when it came to picking the label that we wanted to work with, and they were just a great bunch of people who really kind of understood what we wanted to do, and were happy to support us doing it.
Because, being the home of The Cure, have you had any association with The Cure since you've been on that label?
We've played one show with them. It wasn't through the label though, it was through a magazine called Enemy in the UK, and they had they awarded The Cure with their Godlike Genius Award at the Enemy Awards, and consequently did a gig the day after in the O2 Arena, and we were offered the opening slot, which we took very quickly, because it's always good to play with a legendary band, and it was an honour. It was a great show as well. So
yeah. Because of course in the year 2035 you guys will be getting the Godlike Genius Award, won't you?
God knows.
yeah, who knows, indeed.
Working towards that. There was a whole lot of singles that followed in quick succession after the formation of the band: Unfinished Business, and then Death.
Yeah.
And then very quickly after that, To Lose My Life, Farewell to the Fairground. By the time the album was released, it was almost like a greatest hits album, wasn't it?
No, because the album was in the UK. The album was released only after 2 singles, and very quickly after the second single. But there are,
greatest hits band. I mean,
had
a lot of.
There are a lot of songs. There are a lot of very good songs on our album.
Without sounding too ridiculous or arrogant, but that's part of the thing that someone once wrote about our album is that and this was one of the more cynical people, was that it was basically an album where you could potentially have released any of the tracks as a single, bar maybe one of them. So yeah, I suppose it does have that kind of feel about it, but by no means will it be our greatest hits record. We have plenty more fantastic songs to write, I think.
Yeah. How many of the songs actually do you perform live? Because I know when you did the launch of the album, you did 9 of the 10 tracks. Have you actually done 10 out of 10 live?
Yeah.
It has. So every track of this album is now being performed live.
Just about, yeah.
But you missed one on that first night. Why was that?
I think some of the tracks took longer than others because we the way that we wrote and recorded the album meant that we never played any of the songs. Well, we'd never played any of the songs before we'd done a recorded version of them. We've never done that. One of the songs called "Nothing to Give" is a really slow number, and we weren't going to put it in the set just for the sake of it. I think we wanted to make sure that by the time we came around to playing that song, we'd have learnt it and figured out a really great way to play it live because it's quite a slow burner. And also we wanted to be confident that, we wouldn't start that song and the whole audience would go to the bar and start talking or something. Like we wanted people to know the song and be like, okay, good, they're playing this song. It's more of a special occasion that way, I think.
When you talk about the audience going to the bar and talking, obviously you've had that experience then to bring it up,
Well, I've done it.
A lot of shows where a band plays a really slow song that's not necessarily bad, but and then you get up and go to the bar, get a drink, go to the toilet.
I think whilst we're kind of happy to do what we want, with our live shows in terms of how we play and stuff, you do kind of have to respect the fact that there's an audience there who've paid money to see you, so you don't want to kind of you want to do something that they'll enjoy. You want to put a show on that they'll enjoy from start to finish, and so if it doesn't feel right playing a really slow song in on a certain time or place, then we just won't do it. But now it seems like most of the places we go, everyone knows all of the songs, so we can do that, and a lot of people it's their favourite track as well, so that's good.
When you finished completing the album and you're listening to it for the very first time from beginning to end, what was the expectation?
There was never really a moment like that because we were constantly, obviously during the recording process you're constantly adding things on and taking things away, and then during the mixing you're listening to one track at a time as it comes back from the guy Alan Mulder who mixed our record. Sent us back a track each time we finished one, and so we were hearing it build up slowly. There was never a moment where suddenly we got the full album back and we listened to it from beginning to end. But yeah,
I think
there's certainly a moment when it struck us that we completed something far beyond what we'd ever done before, and something that we were very proud of. And I think, there was a few times, I suppose, when we listened to the whole record after we got it back, but there was never like a sudden unveiling kind of thing. It was just a gradual thing.
Before that first chart come out, did you actually consider that you were going to have a number one debut?
Before the release, no. We were kind of perhaps slightly cautious in what we expected it to do, but we genuinely, really, honestly weren't actually bothered really what it did. As long as someone went out and bought it somewhere, then we were kind of happy because we'd already made the album that we were happy with. You kind of get midweek charts in the UK, which means every day you'll get an update of where the album is. And the first few days we were like, okay, it's currently at number 1. This won't last. It'll probably end up at like number 5 is what we predicted, and then just kind of stuck there. And then we went off to Russia to film a music video on the day that the charts were announced. And so we got strange text messages from our managers kind of on the day saying, by the way, your number 1 album in the UK. And we weren't even there for it. we were in a snowy wasteland in Russia shooting a video, which was kind of bizarre. But it was, an amazing achievement for us. And kind of, shows that the album in some way has been successful with kind of connecting with a wider audience than we expected, and that was something we never really considered before.
Yeah, because it's certainly taking us some, I guess far-flung places around the world, hasn't it? And even during the recording wasn't all done in England, was it? Some of that was done in Belgium.
Yeah, the decision to go to Belgium was based on quite a few things. The first was Brussels was a city we'd never been to, and we quite fancied spending a bit of time there because it always struck us as quite nice, and it was actually much nicer than we expected it was going to be. It's somewhere that I would definitely consider living in at some point in my life, because it's it's a really the lifestyle there and the architecture and everything's just great. It's a really beautiful city. Also, the studio we recorded in was amazing. One of the best studios in the world, without a doubt. Had some of the best vintage equipment I've ever seen in my life, and the best collection I think I've ever seen or will ever see.
Yeah.
And also, at that current time, the exchange rate was heavily in our favour, and it was a lot cheaper to go onto mainland Europe and record with the strength of the pound against the euro, which unfortunately no longer exists. So maybe second record, maybe not, but I would love to go back there.
Oh, maybe other two can come out of Australia then. You can come down here and do it. Yeah. And, you know, I guess when we look at the amount of touring and live shows that you've done, you know, it's been non-stop, hasn't it? You know, I first, saw the band over at South by Southwest this year, and you're one of the sort of the buzz bands of South by Southwest, one of the bands that, I guess, an event like that, you're really thrown to the hounds, aren't you? That's like, you've got to get in there, you've got to impress, and if you don't impress, then, it's sorry, good night. How were the gigs for you? Were you comfortable with performing in front of, crowds like that?
It was a very uncomfortable experience because, well, not very uncomfortable, different, because the crowd there is all either music press or they work in the music industry.
There's a few
fans, but there's people go to gigs probably 3 nights a week, most of them, and therefore it takes quite a lot to impress them and to get quite a lot to get them excited about seeing music, and you've kind of, they wait to be impressed rather than have any sort of excitement to see you play. Having said that, we had some really good shows there. We really enjoyed the time we spent at South by Southwest. We had a fantastic show in the Cedar Street Courtyard, which was
my favourite.
Yeah, which was really bizarre, surreal, but great fun. Really enjoyed that. And then obviously the legendary Stubbs barbecue was great as well.
Can't knock the old Stubbs barbecue.
Yeah, it was good barbecue.
Yeah, the Cedar Street bar you were talking about there, just to explain it to the people, it's sort of a bar on the left and a bar on the right and a courtyard in the middle, isn't it? And then
just an alley. Yeah, you're basically just playing in an alleyway, really.
Yeah,
quite nice trees in
weird.
there.
Yeah, it was very hot, wasn't it, as well?
It was.
And I remember playing and this massive cockroach kind of crawled past my foot as I was doing it, which really grossed me out. But it was nice because it was something that we hadn't done before, and with the amount of touring that we do at the moment, it's always fun when you do something slightly different or slightly unexpected. And in this case, it was a show where everything was running an hour late. The band before us finished. We literally threw our equipment onto the stage area, and then we just pushed on and we just go for it. And and that was just a really kind of fun way of doing it after doing quite extensive touring.
Yeah. Well, what about going to the other end of the extreme? Gigs like Tea in the Park or Reading, Leeds.
Yeah.
I mean, these are massive shows at this point. Then.
Yeah. I mean, we've been looking forward to the summer festival season. We were looking forward to the summer festival season for a long time. It's a really good opportunity to play to a lot of people who may not have heard your music before and might just be curious, and therefore at some festivals, especially the ones in the UK, you can draw an absolutely enormous crowd, and that's a really good feeling, and it's really great to push the boundaries of what you can do with your performance a little bit and push your nerves a little bit in terms of the number of people you're playing to. I mean, especially at shows like the Glastonbury show where there was 40,000-50,000 people there. It's very exciting, but yeah, in contrast to that, you come to some festivals in the world that are, they're a lot smaller and there's fewer people there, but they're sort of more special and magical, and we've had a really good summer in that sense. Yeah.
Let's talk about the 80s, because I read a lot about the influences of the band, and a lot of people talk about White Lies in the same breath as Joy Division, which I find hard to sort of comprehend because I don't really get that, but maybe I'm missing something. A lot of people are talking about it. Do you guys see comparisons there?
I think we're missing something as well.
I think there must be one journalist somewhere in the UK who said it once, and he now has literally defined our band for the last year. It's kind of weird. At the end of the day, I think it doesn't really matter about comparisons to other bands. All new bands get those kind of comparisons, us possibly more than others, but when all is said and done, we were kind of between the ages of 0 and 3 in the 80s, so that music definitely didn't affect us then. And a lot of it we didn't really discover till we'd written most of our songs anyway. So it was, perhaps a slight coincidence, really. But it's not something that annoys us too much.
No.
It's fine. And if it turns people onto our music for the first time, if someone hears that someone's written that we sound like Echo and the Bunnymen or Joy Division or something, and they love those bands, and then they check us out and they like our music, then it's a good thing. So it's not something that we kind of let bother us anymore.
Yeah, because even vocally, it's not Ian Curtis, is it?
No.
It's Harry.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
I think definitely is Harry.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. What about different formats of music that's out there at the moment? I mean, there's a lot of digital downloads, and people sort of question the CD. But you guys have put out a few vinyl records.
Oh, well, yeah, we
too,
do. We do with every single we release and our album as well. Yeah, and it's good. It's a good format. You can't rip it onto your computer and
there's something just nice about it, and like the people. More than anything, I think it's for the people who we kind of meet before some of our shows in the UK or headline shows. There's always a kind of group of maybe 5-10 people. Some of them probably sell on eBay. Most of them are record collectors, and they're the people that kind of want that kind of thing. And it's good that there are still people out there who will go and spend ridiculous amounts of money on buying albums in a very ungainly format and still love it. And everything looks better on vinyl as well. The album cover looks incredible on a big vinyl record, and that, I think that's like my favourite thing that we've released is our big heavyweight vinyl edition of our album. It's great. And so where there's still a few hundred people who buy it, I think it's still definitely worth doing. And there's lots of new ways to get music out there, but for me, that one's still kind of one of the most fun ways, I think. Yeah,
and it sort of draws a line down the middle of the songs too. Suddenly you've got an A side and a B side, haven't you?
Yeah.
Side 1, side 2 with an album.
Yeah. I like the format because it feels like something real, doesn't it? And it's like it's heavy and the artwork's really big. And
yeah,
I mean, I have to admit, I don't listen to vinyl because it's not very portable. But when I spend a couple of months at home next year, I'll certainly be listening to a lot of vinyl because I do enjoy it.
Let's talk a bit about some of the covers that you've done. Kanye West is pretty interesting and unusual. Also, Portishead, I wouldn't have expected to hear Portishead coming from you guys.
Yeah, I think with covers we've always been of the kind of the opinion that if you're going to do a cover, don't do a cover of a song which sounds like your band. Like that's pointless. Just write your own song and make it better. So with covers, we always have to pick quite carefully. It has to be. The Kanye West thing was strange because that was for a radio show in the UK, and we were kind of asked to pick a track in the top 40 to cover for this radio show, and at the time that was by far our favourite track as a band in the top 40, and kind of lends itself quite well to White Lies in a strange way because it's quite minimal for a lot of it. It's quite stripped back, bass and drums effectively, and a lot of White Lies songs are like that, and so that kind of worked. But it's not it's not something we've ever done live and probably won't ever do live because it was just a kind of one-off thing, and it's quite nice that it was a special thing for them. And then Portishead was just a song that we all really really love and thought we can have a crack at it and try and do it in our own style, and it's one of it came from one of the best albums of last year, so we wanted to try and just give it a shot and see what we could do, and we still do that one live. We'll probably play that tonight at the show. So
all right,
yeah.
Any other covers that have popped up from time to time?
We did one.
Well, we
did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
that one.
We did another one-off at Glastonbury this year. We played a Bruce Springsteen cover of the song "Dancing in the Dark," because it was just a hats off to the boss who was headlining the festival, and it was a good festival moment for us and for the people watching, and we enjoyed doing the song because it's a great pop song. Not something we'd do again, but it was good to just highlighted that show and that moment for us, and Glastonbury is full of surprises like that in people's shows. So
yeah, not a bad choice.
Yeah.
We've been catching up with White Lies. Harry and Jack have joined us here at Undercover. Guys, thank you for coming in. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.